I stole a book from one of my clients. It's creating monsters. I'm sure that statement is surprising. Trust me, I found out the hard way that the book doesn't just burn through stuff. Ever since I got home, the book has been acting strange. It wasn't just burning anything it touched anymore. It was growing tendrils. Of course, I cut them off, but they always regrew within the hour. Eventually I gave up. They didn't cause that much harm, right? Emily was gone for the week, and I had an upcoming meet-up with George Rintoro. Honestly, from the information provided, it seems like he shouldn't be trusted. Heck, I can't even remember what he looked like specifically. It's so weird, and I can't wrap my head around it. I decided to meet up with him, but also be prepared. I brought pepper spray and a pocket knife just in case. Days went by, and it was time to meet up with George. I got in my car and drove to St. George's. I got there and was greeted by George, who had a friendly face plastered on him. He led me around again and we chatted a bit, mostly him rambling, similar to the key that won't shut up in my head. Same as last time, but George seemed a bit excited to show me something. "I know you must be dying to talk to him," he said. "Talk to who?" I asked slowly. "Henry. Who else?" He raised an eyebrow. "Oh, yeah," I said cautiously. He led me to a similar room to Michael's, and I saw Henry. "Hey, how's it going?" I asked nervously. He didn't respond and faced away from me. "Henry, it's me, your psychologist," I said. He slowly turned to face me. "You still have it?" he asked. "The book?" I asked. "Yes. Give it back to me," he whispered. I contemplated it, but realized it wasn't a good idea. "Why should I?" I asked. "It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine," he whispered loudly. "Henry, you wanted me to have the book, and even though the offer is tempting, I won't give it back," I said. "You're stealing the secret from me," he asked. What secret?" I asked, now confused. "Don't lie to me," he yelled. "Henry, calm down," I said. He seethed with rage and started fidgeting wildly. I backed up, not wanting to anger him more. To my horror, I watched as his flesh started peeling off, and tentacles, similar to the book's tendrils, erupted from his back as he started screaming loudly. At this point, I was done here. I quickly left the room and locked it behind me. George was walking down the hallway nearby and saw me, glared at me, and started walking towards me. At that moment, I was in fight or flight mode, and I chose flight. I ran in the opposite direction and to the staircase. He chased after me, quickly catching up, but I saw a nearby window and rammed into it. Whatever I was thinking failed. This wasn't an action movie, and I just bumped against the glass really hard, hurting my shoulder and arm. George was right behind me, so I dashed down the stairs until the exit was nearby. George, who was as out of breath as I was, kept running after me, grasping at my shirt, but just out of reach. As we neared the exit, I took a sharp left as George rammed into the exit door, as I kept running towards the main entrance. The key was silent the whole time I was there. I made my way home, realizing I didn't take advantage of the knife and pepper spray, but I decided it didn't matter, and that I escaped. I glanced at the book while I sat in a chair nearby. What secrets did this thing hold? And how did Henry turn into some kind of monster? I sighed as I went to head to my bedroom, when the phone rang. I picked it up, and it was George Rintoro. He didn't say much at first, but soon enough, he spoke. "You really stressed out Henry today. What happened there?" he asked, completely ignoring the elephant in the room. Baffled, I just responded with, "He wasn't happy to see me." Our conversation was short-lived, as he had some errands to run, but before he ended the call, he told me one last thing. "Don't think I don't know about that book you have." What was he trying to tell me? That he wanted the book? Or did he know I stole it from Henry? Or he knew because he was some clone of the key or something? I looked at the book again. What if everything about these crazy things are in the book? I could solve all of this so easily if... No, I won't open it. I can't. But I can't just sit here blind. I headed off to my bedroom and got some well-needed rest. The next morning, to my horror, I woke up to the entire living room where I stored the book covered in tendrils, almost like roots, along with a table and melted shambles on the floor. The book was hanging in the middle of the room, held in place by the tendrils that connected to the walls and edges of the room, like sunblock web. I grabbed my knife, gritted my teeth, and went to work, cutting and stabbing at the thin tendrils that wove around my room. Hours passed as eventually I cut down most of the tendrils, leaving only a couple behind, so the book was elevated in the air and couldn't melt through more of my house. I emptied the large amounts of tendrils into a trash bag and threw it into a nearby dumpster, sighing. The book was becoming more and more of a burden every day. Sooner or later, I won't be able to deal with this thing. I remembered Emily and thought of the chance of us working together and finding a way to get rid of the book. I already tried destroying the thing. Fire didn't work. Neither did water. Throwing it against a wall didn't work either, and I was running out of gloves that wouldn't melt in seconds. A couple more days passed like this, dealing with the tendrils. I realised that even when cut off from the book, they still writhed every once in a while, to my dismay. The neighbours thought a raccoon was in the dumpster, when it was the tendrils trying to escape the garbage bag. The key has given me useless information too. I asked for any way to stop the tendrils and the book burning stuff, and it just told me to open the damn thing. As if that would make things better. I won't fall for it. I won't open that thing. Emily should be here tomorrow. Maybe she could help me pay to get that stupid key out of my arm. If the key is this annoying when it's in my arm, I'm scared to know how bad it would have been if it managed to get into my head. I'll try to get back to you all, sooner or later.